this is Surya Saha, and welcome to the Insurtech Story Podcast, the platform to spread knowledge on insurance innovation, digital disruption, and entrepreneurship. Our website, insurtechstory.com, and we are available on Spotify, Apple, and Google. Today, we are going to discuss on how cyber insurance law is shaping in India. And for now, I'm delighted to welcome our guest, Vivek Ramji Iyer, who is the partner for risk advisory practices at Grant Thornton India LLP. Vivek has over 18 years of experience and specializes in the domains of banking, NBFC, capital markets, insurance, and fintech. And he works very closely with the regulators on matters of industry importance. He's a regular speaker at various external events and has authored multiple thought leaderships within the financial services domain. Vivek, welcome on board, and we are excited to have you for the show.
Hey, same here. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Vivek, would you like to tell our audiences a bit about your role at Grant Thornton?
Sure. I lead what we call as financial services risk advisory, essentially looking at governance, risk, and compliance within financial services. Governance covers the whole internal audit, concurrent audit, process reviews, control testing, board effectiveness, piece of business. Risk management is both qualitative and quantitative risk management, focusing on the entire BFSI segment, including the components of solvency within insurance. And compliance is essentially in terms of looking at RBI, IRDA, and SEBI compliances and PFRDA compliances within financial services. Industry segments we cover is banks, insurance, capital markets, and fintechs across credit, savings, investments, and also cryptocurrencies. So that's just a quick brief.
Right. And you do have a lot of exposure in the insurance segment as well.
I would say I'm learning. I'm continuously learning. So nothing is ever enough. There is always scope to learn more. And
Right.
Especially with the kind of changes that are happening in the ecosystem today, keeping a learning mindset really helps.
Absolutely. Well said. Yeah. Talking from the regulatory and the insurance point of view, and especially a very burning topic like cyber, India's cybersecurity insurance, if you look at, has seen many developments in the recent times, right?
Mm, mm,
Uh, and of course, we have seen a lot of fatalities in this segment as well that the industry, particularly in India, is facing. So,
mm.
can you highlight some important changes that has been brought by the IRDI recently, and your thoughts on that, your opinions on that?
See, in terms of one of the good things about the insurance regulator is that the insurance regulator is very focused on developing the market,
Hmm.
and rightly so, because the insurance penetration in India, is low compared to the other peer
Yeah,
economies as well as other advanced economies.
it's very,
And
very, yeah.
and from that perspective, it's extremely important for an IRDA to basically have a very market friendly approach. And at the same point in time, they also do understand that there is a need for continuous innovation, because market penetration is not just about taking a set of existing products and going deep into the market, but it is also about understanding the kind of insurable risks that actually exist within the system, and also the kind of new risks that are coming up, which the insurance products don't cover. And cyber insurance is a wonderful example of that from IRDA, where they actually, in terms of, came up with these guidelines on product structuring for cyber insurance, so that, as get integrated more and more into the digital world, uh, cyber risks are very critical to both individuals as well as organizations. And IRDA's initiative in that direction is quite positive. The whole initiative on file and use procedure, and being changed to use and file procedure, where instead of actually seeking approvals for product, first you could actually launch the product and parallelly in terms of file it with the insurance regulator. Some of the positives in the insurance sector. There is a lot of focus on protecting customer interests, which is great, and it's across the regulatory ecosystem, be it the RBI, SEBI, or the IRDA, and it's really nice to see that there is a lot of focus of IRDA from a customer-centric approach. And as you go through the cyber insurance guidelines as well, you kind of see in terms of the kind of risks that they intend to address, and how they want to protect customer interests. So there's some great initiatives in that direction from IRDA.
Yeah, true. I think 2021 has witnessed some of the great structuring with respect to the guidelines on cyber insurance, especially on the B2C part as well, that the regulator has brought in, and of course their engagement with the insurers, and especially in the digital transformation side, is actually quite promising for the future,
Mm,
especially
mm,
in India when you talk about penetration.
mm, mm,
Moving on to our next question.
mm,
How has cyber insurance changed in terms of claim settlement, and how is the regulator responding to this? I mean, I would really like to understand your views on that, because claims is something, as we call it, as a single point of truth, right? And
mm,
with
mm,
respect to cyber, and you said the new risk that is coming up, how
mm.
actually this is shaping up with the regulator?
See, one of the things of any new insurance product is the actually the ability, or rather the inability of the customers to understand the riders. So it's extremely important for the customers to actually understand what are the claims that are allowed as a part of the cyber insurance covers that they take, as well as what are the that are not actually covered as a part of the cyber insurance covers. So what exactly happens is that the level of awareness with respect to the cyber insurance product is low. It's there is a lot of there is a lot of push in terms of cyber insurance products, but there is very limited customer literature or literacy programs also that the industry actually runs from, in terms of educating customers about what are the aspects that are covered as a part of cyber risk insurance, and what are those aspects that are not covered as a part of the for cyber risk insurance. There is a lot of awareness that is
Yeah,
created around what are cyber risks. What is phishing, what is what are attacks on your system, what's a malware. There is a lot of talk on this, but in terms of the amount of literature on understanding cyber insurance as a product, it's lesser,
yeah,
and that has a cascading impact on the claim settlement. Now just imagine, I buy a cyber insurance product, and I don't know what's the kind of product that I'm getting into, but some intermediary basically in terms of sold me a product. I bought it, and I realized that I am trying to claim something, okay, from a theft standpoint, and I am unable to claim it. So, for example, I had to, if there's been a financial theft on account of a loss of on account of a loss of a credit card, and unfortunately, I was in a location where there was no way for me to get in touch with the bank, and 3 days have passed by, and I have not informed the bank within 3 days, I'm not eligible to claim cyber risk insurance. So uh, my claim is just about gets rejected there, and this has an impact naturally into, so the claim settlement ratios basically are calculated in terms of what are the admitted claims and what are the amounts that are paid as a result of admitted claims.
right.
Claim settlement ratio doesn't really include those claims that have not been admitted. So, from that standpoint, I genuinely believe that the challenge is going to be more in terms of from a cyber risk insurance literacy standpoint,
Hmm.
uh, which is an important focus area in my view, that the insurance regulator needs to focus on. So the insurance regulator focuses, rightly so, on a lot of customer complaints that come in, and they actually analyze product wise in terms of what are these complaints. And one of the themes that seem to come out of it is the need for greater literacy, or explanation, or in a lucid explanation in terms of what are the aspects that are covered by cyber risk insurance. Great product, but I guess the customers also kind of need to understand what is covered and what is not covered by it.
Yeah, true. I think the 2021 guidelines gives actually a lot of um, room to actually counter cyber kind of attack through some sort of an insurance coverages. I think the idea has come up with a quite a categorical kind of differentiation, and it also included, you have mentioned about the credit card example. So
Hmm.
primarily that would include the theft of funds, right?
Correct.
Then also your identity theft covers, social media covers,
Hmm.
cyber stalking, malware cover, phishing cover, and so on and so forth, including your data breach and
Hmm.
privacy breach covers. So I think, broadly speaking, they have covered more or less a lot of stuff, but on ground from the execution side is something that needs to be looked upon. And that brings to my following question for you is, how do you see the future of cyber law and its execution in India as we move to a more digitally driven world?
See, I actually see a great there being a lot of learning that actually will come on the ground. Essentially, in terms of a lot of insurance companies are going to learn from the feedback that they're going to receive from the customers from a cyber perspective in terms of in in terms of what are the products, what are the challenges that their products have, and in terms of how they can improvise. That's one.
Right.
Uh, I see a lot more flexibility coming in on the kind of riders that are actually attached to the cyber insurance policies today. Because they will start pricing in each one of those aspects today. Another thing is, see, when today they're trying to penetrate the market, and as a result of that, they have kept the price of the insurance products at a certain level to keep it affordable. Like, the lowest is about ₹2 a day. That's the kind of price points that they're doing today. As we pass with time, people will start appreciating and will also be open to paying more for cyber risk insurance. And as the ability of the insurance companies to charge premium kind of goes up, so will be the kind of risks that will get covered. So, and IRDA will also continuously, in terms of respond to these requirements. From a cyber law perspective, in terms of the biggest the biggest bill today is the data privacy bill. It's in a draft stage and people are kind of looking at it. And personally, in terms of that's one of the biggest sweeping changes that is happening,
Right.
because data privacy kind of underpins a lot of the initiatives that kind of stem out of it. So to a great extent, cyber risk insurance, it has a great impact on cyber security. What's the kind of data that is going to be that is going to be stored? What are the kind of security measures that are going to be
Yeah.
needed? And as a result, will have an impact on the insurance covers that actually apply to them. So a lot of changes in that direction, at least, expected.
True. And I think, when we talk about cyber insurance, I think apart from the cyber insurance for businesses, there's an increasing need for individuals as well, because the kind of attacks, even on the individual side, is also increasing in this country, right? The exposure
Mm.
to the digital world as and when it grows bigger, and such kind of attacks are also inevitable. So I
Mm.
think some sort of a risk coverage on this new kind of an evolving risk is the need
Mm.
of the hour for India. I think it's a brilliant topic, and great thoughts that we have discussed today. And thank you for this fantastic discussion. Again, thank you for sharing your thoughts. It was truly a delight to have you as our guest. And lastly, to wrap this up, thank you for listening and see you at our next episode. Take care and stay safe. Goodbye for now.